Over the last few weeks, it's hard to not have heard about all of the Adam22 drama going on. Culminating with the most recent case of him consenting to his wife making an adult film with another guy. The No Jumper podcast has played part in many an internet moment over the years. From covering all the beef between fellow YouTubers to beefing between him and his own staff. No Jumper is definitely no stranger to controversy. Adam22 has been able to build a media empire with his undying thirst for fame and attention. But with this very quality, it caused him to chase the fame right off of a cliff. Originally, I didn't even really want to touch on this whole thing, but the more I thought about it, it covers several series topics. Rise and fall, the dark side of E-Fame. I labeled the thumbnail as part of the Great Uncensored because I read some of the comments and where you guys request that I don't curse so much in some of the videos because sometimes you watch them with your kids. But this one is almost impossible to discuss without using, shall we say, adult language. So be forewarned, this one is not for the kids. Maybe send them off to the room or something. But ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, this is the rise and fall of Adam22 and No Jumper, the dark side of E-Fame. But before we get started, don't forget to smash that like button for me. Liking and sharing the video is the only way to get the YouTube algorithms to continue to notice us and help spread us to more people. But with that being said, in the words of Jason Love, let's get in it. Born Adam Grand Mason, yeah, on November 24th, 1983 in New Hampshire, he grew up in a suburban area with a love for BMX bike riding. On a side note though, I just can't get past the fact this dude's name is Grand Mason, and his pops used to work for the Democrat Party, and he was arrested later on for some sort of sleazy political shit and would be pardoned by Bill Clinton. Whole nother rabbit hole. During this time though, Adam managed to make money by being a professional online poker player. And yeah, as crazy as that sounds, apparently he was able to make it work for him because he would do this for a few years before discovering the idea of mixing BMX riding with hip hop and smashing it all into one blog. At the time, Adam was all about BMX, eventually launching a website under the name The Come Up, where he started BMX related content, interviews and videos featuring riders from the BMX community. Over time, the site would gain attention, and through the ad money that Adam managed to make off of it, he was able to give up online poker playing and blog full time. The same year, Adam launched On Some Shit, a BMX merch store that coincided with his blog. In 2010, Adam moved to LA, looking to expand. Once there, he linked up with a writer by the name of George Potter, who would help him create the No Jumper Tumblr page, the name stemming from an old Gucci Mane lyric. Word is, George did most of the early work at this stage, as Adam seemed to have been pretty hands-off. And what's worse, word is, George was working for the good old free 99. Which shows he must have been really dedicated to the project, right?
He ended up kind of like falling off and not really being into it after like 2 months. But then I always had the URL, and then when we start, and he did a really good job for that time period, even though he didn't like stick with it, whatever. But I mean, it's hard to keep writing for free all the time when you.
Or maybe not. Although George and Adam split, Adam would maintain the No Jumper name with intentions of using it again later. Turns out though, later will come rather sooner, as Adam came up with a new idea to turn No Jumper into a podcast once he switched his focus more to underground rappers. Adam's earlier claim to fame was the fact that he interviewed mainly lesser known rappers. Guys who weren't quite on the superstar level yet, but had enough of a SoundCloud following that their audience still wanted to watch videos of them. The timing of this turned out to be perfect, considering the rap game was about to enter the SoundCloud era. Many of the then underground rappers interviewed in No Jumper's earlier days would go on to blow up, and Adam had connections with most of them. Things were going well for Adam and No Jumper until one day in 2016, some girl named Lena contacted him looking for a job. She would subsequently be hired, and now I don't know if it's so much that Adam can't keep it in his pants around his employees, or if Lena had ulterior motives going in. Either way is unclear, but ultimately, shortly after getting hired, she and Adam would wind up dating. This would mark the beginning of his more questionable saga, shall we say. In 2017, he posted a video titled, "I Had a Threesome," and vlogged about it, which, surprise, wound up bagging 12 million views. Degeneracy aside, No Jumper continued to rise. In March of 2017, he went on a No Jumper tour alongside then popular
Little Pimp.
By now, No Jumper had been cemented in the culture, and wanting to further capitalize off of this, Adam opened up the On Some Shit merch store in LA. As the SoundCloud phase wore on, No Jumper restructured their format a bit. Adam began interviewing LA gang members, porn stars, and practically anyone with an interesting story whom he thought could attract eyes. But this also meant that he was not afraid to lean more into the drama and more negative aspects of life as well. It got to the point to where this was mostly what all of his shows were about. No Jumper was becoming less a podcast and more like a street Howard Stern. It covered YouTube beef, they took money from guys to review their songs live on the show, and various other topics in an attempt to make it through the adpocalypse era of YouTube. He also launched other shows with some of his employees, originally Cam Girl and House Phone. Over time, the crew of No Jumper employee shows grew larger and larger, to the point to where it seemed like they were washing out the episodes with Adam himself in them. With the format of the shows mixed with the worldviews, shall I say, of many of the hosts, it was no surprise that drama would begin to break out amongst cast members. After all, dude had porn stars, pimps, gang members, and everybody working for him. And don't get me wrong, everybody need a bag, but we would soon see the problems that could potentially rise from such a setup. Also around this time, his girlfriend Lena's channel had recently hit 1 million subs. The two had previously promised to release a sex tape once hitting the milestone, and now it was time to make good. The tape monetarily did great apparently, which put Adam on to a whole nother way of making money. Lena eventually announced that she was pregnant.
I just shot my first ever threesome from OnlyFans with my favorites. Hi! Lana and Adam.
I lived y'all dreams. I was inside the belly of the beast. Shout out Trisha Paytas, Lena the Put.
Not to mention, by now, No Jumper had devolved basically from Howard Stern into Jerry Springer, as fights often broke out between guest and host and host, and even host and Adam. It got to the point to where No Jumper was nothing more than a trash tabloid TV type deal. Suffice to say, it was a shit show. It got to the point to where his lovable cast of distinguished ladies and gentlemen began to get into drama behind the scenes. And Adam, being the attention whore that he seems to be, thought that, hey, this would make for great content. It got so bad that Adam himself got into the shenanigans. In early 2023, he exposed his longtime employee and co-host, House Phone, for his apparent proclivity for trans women.
Oh, come on. You've already sold out your entire life here.
Yeah, well.
that looked down upon to expose that somebody may have been with a trans person?
Yeah, absolutely. I sign NDAs and I take them very seriously.
Which would later result in obvious problems between the two, as House Phone, I guess, wanted to stay on the DL.
Bro, no matter what decide to do with their lives, which is nothing wrong with, by the way, I feel like my being like outed or exposed or whatever by like my home team, by people that I work with, that I see every week, bro, I'm really like, that's bothering me, bro. I'm really not gonna lie to you. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie, but I'm also not gonna sit here and like claim like everything. But just know, I ain't never touched it. I ain't never sucked no. I ain't never got in the and I'll leave it there.
And the ensuing fallout?
Funeral as soon as it happened, just because.
Needless to say, House Phone was gone. Adam will go on to fire guys live on air and fall out with practically all of the people who originally made up his crew. He started pulling rank on guys in videos.
This is my podcast, and I'm willing to hear out other people's opinions, but if your opinion is that I should have sat there and took that, get the fuck out of here. It's not happening.
It's my podcast. Now you're going, it's my podcast.
It is my podcast.
It's my podcast. I do what I want.
That is kind of the gist of it.
I just feel like
Which I get, but dude, these are rappers, pimps, and gang members. You can't be Lil Boy-ing them publicly and expect them to just take it laying down. Many of them will go on to start their own shows like T-Rail and AD. Things were looking down for No Jumper. They had plummeted from 28 million views a month to 9. Adam, being the person that he is, pivoted to try to reinvigorate his channel with life. Which brings us to the Cuck saga of 2023. Adam and Lena announced that she would be shooting her first boy-girl scene, not including Adam, to a predictable audience response. I mean, what do you think happened? He got roasted. They roasted his ass like Kenny Rogers. But the really weird part was just beginning. Adam leaned into it, because fuck it, you're in it now, right? Oh well, Jason was, but you get the point. And the nail in the coffin that all but solidified his newly earned Cuck moniker?
What's up, quick story time? Yo, this one time, I get this random message on Twitter. They're like, hey Jason, my wife's a big fan. She wants to shoot a movie with you. What are your movie filming rates? I'm like, yeah, it's 4K. He's like, okay, it's fine, we'll give you 10. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go there and I shoot the film with the woman. I dropped some severe glizzy destruction on her, and the husband is recording this, right? I'm like, this is weird as shit. I'm like, some people, I never understood it, right? Nonetheless, so I dropped the glizzy on the woman or whatever. So she dropping the go 3,000, she's saying, hey little man, you like that?
And to make matters even worse, as if they even could be at this point, Jason ended the scene with a, I guess to his credit, no, as a testament of his dedication. That's a better way of putting it. As a testament to his dedication to do anything on God's earth for money, Adam went on a tweet storm attempting to joke about the issue in response to all of his expected onslaught that he was getting from his followers. People were asking legit questions though. Like, for as well as No Jumper had been doing over the years, there's no monetary reason for him to do this. I mean, sure, views were down from their peak, but Adam definitely couldn't have been hurting for money, right? For what good reason would he think that being in the industry that he's in, that this could possibly be a good idea? Many suggested that it might be a ploy to get people off of the recent allegations that Adam may or may not have slept with an underage girl years back, but I guess we'll never know. If Adam had made his career as a porn star, then maybe you could write this off as being part of the business. But Adam had made it in the single most roast-happy, unrelenting, and sometimes childish industry there is. Rap. So, his fans ate his ass alive. But at the end of the day, it seems like it's all about the money for Adam. And many of his viewers have pointed this out too, that this always has been his motivation. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of people getting paid. But as a wise old man once told me when I was a kid, boy, all money ain't good money. Adam22 personifies this quote. From day one, Adam has shown his drive to succeed, even at the cost of leaving friends and keep people in the lurch and pivoting to whatever will get him the most attention. Looks like he's beginning to take it to a whole new level. At this point, is there really a lower level that he could stoop to for money and fame? You know, yeah, there actually is. And I haven't seen any of his movies, but I definitely wouldn't want to see that one should that be made, if you catch my drift. But the lesson to be learned here is, grind, yes. Be dedicated to success, definitely. But don't lose yourself in the process. Some people get so wrapped up in greed that they do things that at the end of the day, they would feel ashamed about if they actually had a soul or a pair of balls. As for Adam22, I'm sure he will continue to draw attention as he is more than willing to seek it at all costs, as we see. He's lost many of his day one fans and managed to pick up new ones along the way. So he has no motivation to chill now. His whole thing has become like a car wreck. You just can't help but to slow down a bit to see what the hell is going on over there. But what do you think? Were you an OG fan of Adam22 and No Jumper? Are you still into his antics now? Hit us up in the comment section and let us know. And if you made it this far, we hope that means you enjoyed the video and that you smashed the like button for us. Liking and sharing each one of these is the only way to help us to continue to grow as a channel. And if you want to be updated whenever we drop a new episode, then hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell. That way you will be dinged whenever a new video drops. But with that being said, I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com signing out. Until next time, peace.